Good morning, people. Good evening, people. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Doesn't matter where you're from. Welcome to the video. Now, Dirt Rally. This game, this game is a welcome challenge in my life. But before we get into talking about Dirt Rally, what I like, what I don't like about it, almost like a mini review, let's just take a couple of moments for myself to explain my Dirt credentials, basically the other Dirt games I've played in the series, and what I think of them in a few short words. Now, it began in 2009 with Dirt 2, and I'm holding the game right here in my hand. What a brilliant game. Personally, out of all the Dirt games so far, I'm only saying so far because my opinion can change the more I play Dirt Rally. Dirt 2 is my favourite game, although it's not exactly well received amongst the community of Dirt players because admittedly there wasn't enough Dirt races. There was Dirt races across the thing. We're doing this in one take. There wasn't enough rally races, and there wasn't enough of a focus or an emphasis on rally racing in this game, considering after the first game was so heavily focused on rally racing. Overall, I felt it was a good game. I felt if they would have focused a bit more on rally races, had a few more races, maybe had one or two more locations in the game, I felt it would have been the best game because I think it had enough variety in terms of like cars you could drive, events you could take part in, and the fact that you could take part in the X Games, the European X Games, the Asian X Games, and the American X Games. That it's always a thrill to just delete my save, go back over, play it again, unlock my chance to compete in the X Games, and just drive and see if I can win the competitions again. Even if I come second, wait a couple more weeks or play a couple more races, then go back to the X Games and let's see if I can do this again. So overall, personally, I love the game, but I think it's because like it was more of my first game, so my opinion may be more swayed to liking it more because it's my first game. I have more fond memories of it. Next game, Dirt 3. Dirt 3 shifted more of a focus back to rallying, but it also included the addition of Gymkhana. Now Gymkhana, for those of you who don't know, is a motorsport where it's essentially car trick freestyle. Basically, you're given an arena with areas to donut in, areas to drift in, ramps to jump off of, things to smash, and it was created by Ken Block, and basically the whole challenge is just go out there, do all these tricks in any order that you want, just string them together and we will score you points. And obviously the sicker it looks, the more points we will score you, the more technical and more difficult it is, and the more successful you are, more points will give you, blah 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 blah. And anyway, that game mode is actually a blast of a challenge to play. Now one thing about both Dirt 2 and Dirt 3 is they had this feature in them called Flashback, which was also in other Codemasters racing games such as, I think it was F1 2014 or 2013, I can't remember which one. I know it's one of the games my brother has, and it has the same mechanic where basically you can just rewind time to about like 20 seconds beforehand, hit square on PlayStation, and then just fly back into a race from that point on. Firstly, I love that mechanic, although I can see why it's a crutch. Now, Dirt Showdown. Dirt Showdown is an okay kind of title. However, they buggered up in so many areas, like the fact that they didn't truly make it like a Demolition Derby kind of game. And the commentator in that, at times at first it's endearing how cheesy it is, but if you play for too long, personally for me, he just becomes so annoying and you just want to shut the little bugger up by sticking him in your car and making him throw up. It's a decent little title, however, I wouldn't really recommend it, like, unless you're a hardcore Dirt fan and you're just looking for another Dirt experience, then get it, but personally for me, it's worth avoiding it. Now, Dirt Rally. This game is very much a hardcore rally game. I can sense that there's a lack of game modes in here. Like, so far I've already played like 2 hours of it, so this isn't probably a well-informed opinion, so keep that in mind if you're watching this. But like, there seems to be a lack of game modes. I've only really been ever I can't even speak. We only do this in one take, fuck it. I've only ever been able to play 2 game modes so far. That's within the career mode, that's rally racing, as you can see here in my Lancia Fulvia, and rallycross. That's about it. Now, I like how in this game they've made rallycross the more realistic version, so they've actually included what's known as the Joker lap. So basically you have to, in a rallycross race, you have to take a corner that's longer, that goes around the outside of the track. It's only just one corner of the track. You have to take one of them at least in a race, otherwise you'll get like a time penalty. So they've made rallycross more realistic, more technical, and the driving in this is much more demanding. You really have to focus here, and I will admit, I'm not the greatest driver, so even though you can see like this is a fair bit of good driving for me, I will hold my hands up honestly and say this took several retries. I had to retry this stage so much simply because this game is so demanding of your focus and your attention. You have to be focused, you have to pay attention to everything, you have to learn when to brake for each kind of corner, you have to learn how to corner precisely in each kind of corner. You have to learn how to be able to read the road at a fair decent speed. So it really is a sort of challenge, and the game actually sort of punishes you for turning on more driver assists, or like switching on more options and features that will actually help you in a race, and it rewards you for turning as many of them off as you can. So this game is asking you to really sort of step up to the plate. You can't just sort of haphazardly come into this game casually and be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna play some Dirt Showdown. Not Dirt Showdown, I'm just gonna play some Dirt Rally just to chill. No, you can go to Dirt Showdown and just say, oh, you know, I'm just gonna play some Dirt Showdown just to cool off. No, if you come to Dirt Rally, you've got to come prepared. This game will absolutely annihilate you, and it will watch you suffer and cry in a corner if you are not focused, if you're not paying attention. In fact, that last race I just ran was probably one of the only truly good races I've ever had in this game. Now, getting back to this game being more bare bones in my eyes, I can sense that this game is much more bare bones. Like, in Dirt, and this goes for all elements, like, one key element of the Dirt games is actually their main menu design and the style the games go for, because each has changed so dramatically over time. With Dirt 2, the whole menu setup was you were in an RV trailer that travels around the world, so your menu travels to, as you go to like different countries to race at different events, and you can step outside. So like you can step outside the beginning of the game, be in London, then you can select to do a race in Morocco, then once you finish the race you can step outside and you can be in Morocco. It was a very cool element, and it personally for me it gave it more of a personal touch. It was like, I'm travelling the world, I'm taking part in these races, this is my motorhome, this is my home, I am the driver here, I am more invested in the game. Dirt 3, the menu sort of switched up as they switched up the style of the game. Like, it was more or less, most of the time it was now just sort of disembodied voices talking to you, which isn't to say that that wasn't present in Dirt 2, where it's just like, there was more of it here. Like, you no longer travel the globe in a trailer. You just sort of went back to almost like a whitish or greyish kind of screen where you could see your car drifting in slow motion, and all the menus were basically just like a bunch of triangles that unfolded out, so you could select championships and all that. Dirt Showdown, it was meh. It was just inside the stadium as you could see cars drifting around. This one, however, this main menu, it's so bare bones. Like in the background, again, it's continuing this theme of slow cars drifting in slow motion, or cars going around corners in slow motion, or cars overtaking each other in slow motion. But I don't know, just the menu feels so cold and static. I don't know, it's just, to me it's not welcoming. Like I boot it up, I'm like, it just feels so cold and so drab and so soulless. Like, it doesn't feel like this game has a soul when I go to the main menu. When I start a rally race, I can then find that soul, but it's just like, do I have to start a race in order to find the game's soul or essence? Finally, however, if I did have to conclude, if you are more of a hardcore racing fan, I'd recommend you pick up this game. If you are a hardcore racing fan, pick up this game. If you are a rally fan, I'm surprised if you haven't picked up this game. If you're looking for a new challenging racing game, pick this up. If you just want a casual racing game, however, avoid this at all costs. Either that, or pick it up, but learn that you are going to have to climb a massive skill gap in order to get fairly good at it. And trust me, even I haven't fully climbed that skill gap. Even I, if I'm to start a race, have to restart a race so many times because it'll be so unclean and so dirty. And that's one more feature I did want to talk about. When you go from race to race, the damage your car sustains actually carries over, so that is a brilliant feature, and you always get an interview. You always get an interval within every 2 races to repair your car. However, if you do decide to repair your car in very specific areas, it will add time on to you. It will give you a time penalty, which is honestly one of the coolest features I've ever seen in a rally racing game. But anyway, I could talk more about Dirt Rally another time. This is almost like a sort of little introduction to Dirt Rally. Overall, I'm actually loving the game, and I'll probably be looking forward to playing it some more. I've got a couple more bits of gameplay lined up for another video, another short video. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye.